This is a 3D print. Comes off of one of those machines over there, almost like magic. Your final result is something that is so accurate to what you've designed, it's almost, I don't know, it's mind-blowing, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it's still a 3D print. It's plastic, it has these layer lines in it, and it's not exactly the design and aesthetic I had in mind. And that got me thinking, you know, it'd be really cool if this thing was made out of rock. Now, this is not going to be the most straightforward thing ever, but I think I've got a way to figure this out. It's going to involve a few steps in the process and some materials that I haven't had a lot of experience working with before. But before we jump into just making stuff, we've got to come up with something to actually create. So let's start with the first phase. Now for the shape of this tray, we're gonna go with something kind of organic. I want this to look like rock, and nature doesn't really like straight lines, so we're going curves. I found this reference image as well, which is just exactly what I had in my brain. To make this something we could print though, we're gonna have to design it in CAD. With our design all modeled up, we can 3D print it, do some sanding, okay, a lot of sanding, hit it with some primer, a little drywall mud, and finally some texture with this spray paint. And now we have what looks like a piece of rock that's actually still just a 3D print. But that's all we need to move on to the next phase. If you've never heard of mold making before, then let's do a quick 5-second overview. Mold making is the process of taking one finished object, creating a form, in this case a foam core box, and then filling that with silicone rubber. The final result is a mold that has the exact details of the object we started with that we can now use for something else. No. This is cure inhibition. It happens when platinum silicones come into contact with some materials. See this? That's all gooey and uncured. We'll need to switch to a tin-cure silicone that won't have this problem. We'll just take that out. There we go. Yep. Like it never happened. Much better. Now that our mold is done, we can move on to pouring our rock in a process called casting. This is Jesmonite. It's a ceramic, plaster, cement type material made of acrylic resin and mineral powder. If I place it on a graph between these three materials, I'd probably put it right here. After measuring out the two sides, we'll give it a quick mix and then add our color. If I'm being honest, I have no idea what color is going to be right, so I'm just kind of guessing here and let's see what we get. With everything all mixed up, it's time to pour it into our finished mold. One of the unexpected and best things about this material is that it's cured up in just an hour and a half. Way faster than I was expecting. But now that it's done, we can pop it out and see what we've got. But before we go and see how our final result turned out, Real quick, I just want to take a second to say thank you for watching this far, number one. And number two, if you're willing to and have the time, do something else down there. You know, like hit a like or leave me a comment. Maybe if you liked it, didn't like it, what you'd want to see me try next. I want to keep doing stuff like this for you if you find it helpful and learning along the way. All right, enough of that. Let's see how it turned out. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I really love this thing. It looks like the reference photo. It looks exactly like the reference photo. It's in hand, it's like, I mean, it feels like a rock. If I handed this to you, you would tell me that it's a piece of rock. I'm gonna make a few more castings of this, maybe in some different colorways. And if you wanna grab one, I'll throw a link down in the description where you can find those. But for now, my head is just spinning on like everything else that I could make out of this material and different textures and a bunch of stuff. But that's for another time. So for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.